Are you ready to take your live events to the next level? Look no further than Pulse Studio, your one-stop destination for cutting-edge design solutions. Their expert team of designers specialize in crafting beautiful 3D renderings, animations, and content creation for the live events industry that will captivate your audience and bring your vision to life. Pulse Studio also has you covered for interactive guest experiences. Anything from touchscreen content to immersing guests in unforgettable virtual or augmented reality experiences, guaranteed to leave a lasting impression. From concept to execution, Pulse Studio is here to elevate your events to extraordinary heights. Contact them today by visiting www.pulsestudio.com and bring your dreams to reality.
Welcome everyone tonight to the Core GT series. We're coming at you from the Nürburgring, the Green Hell tonight. In the broadcast booth we have James here as well as me. I'm John. Wow, that sounded really silly.
How's it going, everybody?
But looking through here, we did a little bit longer quali session here tonight just due to the fact that we're talking about 7 and 8 minute lap times here. Currently looking like Mason Smith taking the top honors here at a 7:05, and I realized I have messed up my what do you call it, SDK from the 24 we did here. Let's see, because there are names that do not look correct.
Oh boy.
There we go. Everybody's full name. I was just like, wait, who's Tura? Oh yeah, that's right, that's Nick. So, looking here, it looks like Mason on provisional pole with a 7:05.7. That is ridiculously quick. It'll be curious to see how many of these guys. I mean, looking like, so we got 13 people now that have already set a lap time in total, leaving 1, 2, 3, 4. So about another 6 to go. So it will be curious to see how many people set that like soft, easy time just so they know they got one in. And when we start getting into the second thing here, how many of them just go for broke. And we will hide.
Yeah, I was watching Mason while we were talking before the broadcast, and man, he's moving pretty good. He's nice and smooth.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one of I try, but how Mason keeps his hands as steady as he does, and if you ever get a chance to watch his to look at his throttle and brake inputs, it's kind of insane. So, but I mean that's what it takes to be, you know. I mean, the crazy thing is, you know, you see these guys on most tracks, and you know, Mason or you know when Dom's here, it's you know they're I don't know right at maybe a second, half a second faster. But as we see this first one here, you know, Mason Smith with a 2.5 second advantage over Nick. But I mean, we're talking about a 7 minute lap. You know, most lap times are 2 minutes. So, I mean, I guess that tracks out about the same, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And Chris Hamilton in the GT3s running an 8:15. That's pretty quick too.
Looking like
He's kind of.
I never get tired of looking at that Scooby-Doo mystery machine. But
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Let's go over here to some of our GT3s, and you can see that same sector there, just how much slower the GT3 is. You know, because the track's so big, we won't see a ton of multi-class passes here tonight. And when you do, should be on pretty much single cars. Although, you know, a bunch of these guys like Chris and Jake and Ponzi and Tilford, you know, they'll all be fairly close to each other, but there should be a little bit of a gap to let the GTPs through. But there's big sections of this track, James, that just are not good overtaking spots.
No, they're really, really, you know, a lot of the corners are really tight, and some of the straights are, you know, pretty short in between the corners, so yeah, there's not a whole lot of overtake room.
Yeah, so let's see if I can pull up. Is it the roll bar or There we go. The gyro cam, and you can kind of see Chris as he's doing his lap here, about to go into the carousel. And that's carousel with a K, if you want to spell it properly. As he drops in here, let's see with the gyro cam. Okay, so this one's actually stable. Is it the... No? Okay. Some of the roll bar cams will do the rotation, and you can see exactly how angled that section of track really is.
Right, yeah, he was pretty smooth through the carousel there, and, you know, he's going pretty smooth using the entire track. He is, you know, that's one thing I like about Hamilton is he uses all of the track.
And that's one of the things that I've learned about this track is there are large sections to use. And I'm going to swap over here to the TV camera as he comes over through here getting ready for YouTube corner. On the exit here, watch how far he takes the car off the track. It's not an off track, but that right there running on the other side of that red curb, that's the fast way. And you know, right there again, it's part of the track. You don't get an off track, so he's going to use it. And you'll see him right here up again, using it all right there.
Yeah, using all the track allows you to carry a ton of speed. You don't have to, you know.
And we can see right here, I bet he'll run all the way out. Let's see. Yeah, you know, maybe an inch there, you know, almost touching those curbs. And it's kind of terrifying through here, just bouncing through it.
And it's funny when you talk to him, his joke is, you know, I bought the track, I might as well use the whole thing.
Definitely a lot of BMWs here tonight. I know a lot of guys ran the BMW. I mean, now Browder and is it Kevin Peake? They generally always run the BMW, but I know a lot of these guys ran the BMW. And well, there you go. That's kind of interesting. You see how close Jake and Tim there are on track doing their qualifying lap, and you can see Chris a little bit further behind there. And
yeah, unfortunately, we're not running open qualifying. We're running solo. So,
I really don't think anybody wants to run open qualifying here. That would just be absolutely terrifying.
But it was so much fun on Sunday with my other league, so, you know.
Yeah. I mean, open qualifying has its place, and it can be fun. But in a multi-class setup like this, there'd be guys who would never get a lap in, and that's just, it's painful when that happens.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Hopefully the attack things are working, and that didn't pick up too much of my typing there. So, looking here as Chris down into the 814s there. Mason improving on his second lap down to a 704.
Well, it looks like Mr. Tilford has decided he's done.
Yep. Well, that would have been his second lap. Interesting that it restarts you right there. Trying to see Thaddeus Marshall dropping down to GT3 after running most of the season in GTP. So, you know, wanted to run around the little guys, get a little more racing in, which, you know, GTP, you know, the field sizes dwindled a little bit. But let's go through here real quick, and I'll pull up our points here for our GT series. Currently have Tim Ponzi leading the GT3 class with 220 points. Jake Browder 22 points behind him, and Dave Tilford 50 back from that. Looking in the divisions here, Tim Ponzi is leading Platinum and Gold. Alan Elwood is currently leading the Silver division, and Tyler Bramble is leading the Bronze division. In GTP, Dominique Ford 204 points, 7 points ahead of Mason, and 26 points ahead of Nick Terrell. So definitely with Dom missing tonight will be a that'll put that pretty close there for the next week when they come back. And real quick, well, we have about a minute here. I'm going to show our schedule here, pull it up and cover the whole screen apparently. I don't know why SDK is covering the whole screen, but This is the 7th week. We're coming from Nürburgring. Next week will be Road Atlanta. After that, Montreal, and then Algarve, which, if memory serves correct, James, is also called Portimao, I believe. Most people might know it more by that name.
I'm actually not sure.
Oh, not a motorbike fan
I
for
am.
MotoGP?
I just don't get to watch it a whole lot. So.
Well, that's understandable. So, let's see.
I spend too much time in iRacing.
Looks like Mr. Marshall is the only person still out on track, and there we go. That will be the qualifying session. Going to pull up our grid here. Thank you very much. In GTP, Mason Smith taking pole with a 7:04.415. 2.3 seconds back, you've got Nick Terrell. Let's see, was it 5.9 seconds back? Matthew Simmons. I ran a few laps here with Matthew in the 24. Nice to see him coming out. Kevin Santana, 8.7 back. Sahaj Patiar, 10.5. Daniel Nans, 19.6. Abivis Uvasam not setting a time. And Dominique not here as well. We'll go over to... Where is the thingy? Ah, there we go. Grid. Hey. Bad SDK. There we go. Christopher Hamilton in GT3 setting the pace on 8:14.220. Tim Ponzi 1.8 seconds back there. Let's see if we can't get a zoomed in view. Where is that? Well, it's not really giving me a good... I wanted to kind of show each car back behind him, but I guess that's not going to work. Tim Ponzi, Kelly Porter in 6th, Thaddeus Marshall in 7th, Kevin Peake in 8th, Tyler Bramble in the lone Merc in 9th, Craig Potter in a Ferrari there in 10th, John Crane in another BMW in 11th, and Nathan Sides in another BMW in 12th. So, you know, not too much variation. Only have one Merc, one McLaren, and one Ferrari. Looks like a B is not on the starting grid, so wonder if Bobby is going to try to start from the pits here.
Yeah, I was questioning before, earlier I was questioning the guys why so many BMWs, and they said, one of them, I don't remember who said it, but they said that the BMWs handle the best here, so I guess, I don't know.
It's one of those. A lot of it's going to depend on what kind of driver you are. There's something about the BMW. I do not get along with it. I can't lay my finger on it. There's no what's the word I'm looking for? No readily apparent reason. It's just not for me.
Yeah, the BMW and I don't get along either. I tend to bounce between the Porsche and the Lamborghini.
Which everybody generally says the Porsche and the Lambo are two of the hardest ones to drive. I always say that it's Powell Casca there being the nutcase driving the McLaren, the oldest and probably the worst physics and force feedback out of any of the cars that are left on the service.
Well,
but the exception being the Slostus and the Kia, and yeah, many of those two are the only other hated ones I have.
The McLaren's got a lot of straight line speed, so that really long straight will help him. And the flat out section in the mountain there, that'll help the McLaren with the straight line speed.
Yeah, I think I was looking earlier in Bramble. I was trying to see what the Merc did because for the 24, the Merc got a 3% power BOP hammer, and I noticed we were hitting like 167, 168 if we were lucky with a little bit of a draft, and I saw Bramble hitting 171, so definitely took some speed out of that Merc for the 24. So we were about to go green here. And they are off. There we go.
Away we go.
So Nick on the outside, Mason on the inside, into turn one. Anybody going to be brave? everybody kind of, you got the cut back there. That's going to put Nick on the
Hamilton
preferred
getting a
line.
good lead out front.
Who was that? It's Kevin Santana getting a little bit of contact and getting spun there in the beginning. Chris, as they come in here, we're going to kind of jump through people trying to see if everybody makes it through. And it looks like everybody does, in fact, make it through.
Chris got a good jump off the start.
Yeah.
So he had a little bit of gap until turn 1.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, there's so many long areas here on this track that, if you can't drop somebody to like 1.2, 1.4 seconds behind you on some of these straightaways, they're just going to be coming right back at you. As we see, Nick, staying ahead of Mason here. So it'll be very interesting as they make their way out of the, I guess it's the GP track, but I've also heard it called the arena section before. As that right there, that little corner set there, you can get a lot of off tracks on as they hop up onto the old portion of the green hell here. Jeez, the lines and the speed of these GTPs is insane.
Yeah, and a couple of weeks ago I tried the GTP out, and it just, for me the lack of mechanical grip was really, really difficult. You've got to keep your speed up to keep the aero, the downforce, to stick the car to the track, basically.
Showing a little bit of an accident here. It says Jake Browder and Dave Topher may have had a little bit of a thing. The 46 of Ponzi getting into the side. And Powell getting into the back. It was Powell. That is, let me find him here. Yep, that is a noseless McLaren. That's not what you want to have happen here at the Green Hell. That will not be fun.
Yeah, that will not. That, takes the McLaren's cornering ability and makes it more difficult.
Looks like Dave jumped to the pits there.
Did I see 2 identical cars? Yes, I did. Row
yes.
and row.
Let's see. Hold on. Where is that? I'm looking for these 2 on the track. Yeah, that would be Kevin Peak and Jake Browder there on the same team.
Oh, nice.
So Jake generally a little bit faster than Kevin. But as you can see here, as they go into the fast portion here, let's pull up the... where did she go? Where did she go? The dashboard. 151 miles an hour for them there. Let's see. Did we catch Bramble? Well, he's still not. No, didn't catch Bramble to check the speed on that. As Powellcast continuing on without the front clip.
Say what you want about the McLaren, you gotta love the flames out the back.
Yes, but 150 miles an hour through miss, hit, miss. That is just absolutely insane. GT3s, I mean, they'll be through there in a minute. We'll catch them, but I want to say that we were only doing like maybe 90 miles an hour through miss, hit, miss. So 160 is just...
It's rocket ship.
No, so I've run the Mercedes W12 and 13 around here. They do 5-minute lap times around just the Nordschleife. It hurts my brain. Like, they're so fast. And the GTPs, I did a little test run earlier, and it's actually not that hard to drive. As long as you don't want to go full speed. If you want to go full speed, man, that's a different matter. We can see Mason starting to suck up to the back of Nick coming up this big long hill. 180 miles an hour as they're ready to come up into the carousel for the first time. Now the interesting thing will be, do they drop into the carousel or do they take around the outside and try to carry the speed with the downforce here? I don't remember checking in practice.
That's a good question. I think you're going to see the GT3s tuck down in, and there they go. They're tucking in.
Did not expect it. That's one of those, I think that's a sim racing line. I don't think it's real life. Pretty sure they would not have a front splitter trying that in real life. Let's check back in here. See, Jake Browder only 0.4 of a second here behind Kelly Porter. And they are, let's see, where are they on that track? Oh, they're going up the hill.
Yeah, you know, the
Yep.
GTPs are on that big long straight. We got to see what that top line speed is.
They're getting, oh, that's what we need. We need the track map. Sorry, people, the track map is a little big. The track's a little big. So, as we will catch them, that way I can keep an eye where everyone is here. Let's see.
Oh, Powell, or no, Powell off in the grass there for a moment.
I believe that's Daniel Nans. That had a little moment. Yeah, it looks like, whoa. Yeah, he's got a little bit of damage, and he's got some more. So that's probably gonna have to be going back to get that fast repair. So we'll go back live here.
Now, how many fast repairs do they have tonight? Just one?
Yes, just one fast repair. Getting a little bit of connection issues out of how they're getting a few phantom ground hits as jump in here to these two as they launch themselves out of the Dottinger Hope onto the long back stretch. As 170, 180. There's 190, and you can see Mason, Nick trying to weave on that back stretch.
Yep, trying to block that draft.
As, yeah, Mason not able to keep up with Nick there.
I was gonna say he's not fucking up at all.
I wonder if Mason got locked in with having, because their iRacing has a small little issue with their GTPs, where sometimes when you load into a race, it will lock the GTPs into attack mode on the ECU, and if you're stuck in attack, they will be long depleted the batteries before they get to that back straight.
Gotcha.
So, definitely something to keep an eye on. Checking in the Discord chat, Tyler Kikeko saying he loves all the different manufacturers we see tonight. Well, there's some variety in GTP. We've got an Acura and a Caddy and a Porsche and a BMW and another, you know, so they're all well represented in GTP, but yeah, GT3 is the top. What is that? 6 cars, all BMWs. Yes, let's check in with these guys here. Their top speed is looking like 167 at the top of the hill. Thaddeus Marshall trying to get a little bit of a tow there. As there you go, there's the Merc. 168, 169. Yeah. 173 out of that Mercedes. So.
Wow.
Okay, maybe the
3 times
Mercedes
that.
did deserve its 3% power BOP.
You know, I was only able to hit like 167 in the Lambo while I was practicing, and so I mean 173 from that Merc. I still say it's a little OP.
Well, we don't run the that's just a special event BOP. Looking back here. Oh, something happened to Mason here. No. Okay, no. The track map, when it has they're so close, it was covering Mason's number with Nick, so here we go. Let's see if they get a run here. See, that just seems crazy, Nick, trying to break the toe weaving like that. That's going to have to cost them speed, I would imagine. They are down through what is that? Adenauer Forst to the compression current. No, Adenauer Forst is at the top of the hill. They're headed down to the compression. I can't remember what's between Schwinding Cruise, the long left, and the compression. So, remember a lot of the corner names here.
I don't remember any of the turn names. There's so many of them.
I may or may not have thousands of laps here throughout different sims over the years.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
only
I,
been
I have a
I've
bad
only
day. I
been
would.
sim racing for about a year and a half now, so.
Yeah, like me on a bad day is, oh, you know what? I'll take the Porsche Cup car on a set of Corsa or something like that, and load up the Nürburgring at night in the rain. I'll go run some laps there. That'll make me feel better. That being said, a set of Corsas, their rain is nowhere near as good as what iRacing did. I really cannot wait to try a few of these cars out with rain tires later, because I know we're getting the development updates at the Porsche Cup car will have rain tires next season, so that'll be fun.
Oh boy.
No
Yeah.
ABS and less downforce. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a
That'll make
blast.
for a driver's race.
Can you sense the sarcasm?
Oh no, I would enjoy it. Let's see. Checking in here, looks like another battle here on track between Sahaj Padiyar and Kevin Santana. Although I think we may have just seen the end of that battle with Sahaj taking out the wall there. Let's see if we see. Yeah, he's got just a wee little bit of damage on the front end of that Porsche, James.
Yeah, you know, we got a pretty good little battle going on here between Sad and Kevin Peak.
Just checking in on that one here. They're headed down to the compression currently. So, BMW on BMW. You know. And the problem is, even if you're faster than the guy here, there's nowhere to get around. There's just,
Right.
you know, you might be able to try a move here, but it's such a heavy braking zone while you're turning, it gets sketchy. Because if you get it wrong, you're going over the curbs.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Sad definitely broke a little later there on, and you know, got a little closer, sucked up on him a little bit.
Now, one of the few passing opportunities you do have on the track is here after miss hit miss down into
Oh,
the.
Mason just went off the track.
Oh, looks like he came back on. Well. Oh yeah,
Oh, he's got no nose. He went straight into the guardrail.
Well, see, from that point of the track, that's probably going to be about a 6 to 7 minute tow. So that will take a lot of pressure off of Nick there.
Yeah,
So,
I think he just, I think Mason misjudged his speed and just kind of slid through the corner there.
yeah, checking back in, you can kind of see that even, let's see, that. Yep, Daniel Nans, after getting his faster pair and coming back out, is starting to make his way through the GT3, some of the GT3 field, passing Sahaj Padiyar there. As we see, Sahaj decided to pit and get a new nose. So let's see. Check back in here
Yeah,
with.
and a GTP, man, no nose is no good at all.
No nose, no bueno.
No bueno at all.
So it looks like everybody, except for these two, is all split out.
Yeah, Pete and Marshall still going at it.
Yep. And it's one of those things where really, these two are close on track, but at the end of the day, they're not battling each other as much as they are battling this track and making sure that, because all it takes is one little mistake, catching one curb you didn't mean to. And as you saw there with Mason, you're just kind of off. We're going to jump real quick and see what exactly happened to Mason here. So this is going through Whipperman. Oh!
Yeah, he hit the curb and then right into the guardrail.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... that was a interesting catch here off of that. Let's go.
He clipped it pretty good. I think he got all the way into the grass with it. Right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yep,
it rode on the, what do they call it? The barge board, the little plank underneath.
Yep.
So Nick setting a 7:08 last lap. Kevin Santana a 7:26. So you see race pace. Some of these guys back here have just dropped right off. Sahaj. Oh, we got to look at this here. No. Where is it? I think Sahaj may have a bent wheel. Let's see.
Boy, it sure looks it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You got that
Ain't got
steering wheel
about.
almost completely sideways on the straights. Oh, here
Oh,
we go. We're gonna
and
go
the
into
fun thing
fifth and get
is,
picked.
that's a broken track bar because every time he touches the gas or brake, it changes.
Yep.
That is not a fun way to drive around this track for sure. So, I didn't see any other off tracks
now we
for
got
Sahaj.
Peak and Marshall still going at it. And now we got Potter coming up behind them both. Gonna be a three-way battle soon.
You mean Pointer?
Sorry,
Yeah,
Mike.
yeah, that's Kelly.
Okay, you'll have to excuse the inexperience here.
No, you're fine. I was sitting there going, wait, Craig was back there not too far away from Tyler. Where did Craig just find about 25 seconds apace?
You know what? I was just, I looked at the results to see who was behind Thad and tried to guess that way.
Yeah, last lap, Kelly setting at 8:39 and Thad and Kevin only 8:41. So, we saw Chris setting a 8:14 in qualifying. Last lap, 8:29. So, we will see what he sets this go around. Well, that'll be a little.
You know, I'm
Excuse
seeing
me.
the three of them on the straight here. You know, the long straight, and I don't think they're sucking up on each other at all.
Yeah, definitely not the.
They're not
how
getting
it's
much
looking.
draft at all.
You can see. Let's see, where was that? Okay, so Mason comes back out ahead of most of the GT3 field. So, but pretty much right on the back of Jake Browder here. So we'll get to see. Well, if Mason gets a hurry on quick, yeah. But Mason's going to want to get these passes done here. On the GT. Sorry, not the GT. the GP. The Grand Prix track. That's where you're going to want to get these passes done, where, as you can see, there's 6 cars worth of room on the track.
Yep, there he goes. He made short work there.
Yeah, and let's see. So he's here, and Christopher Hamilton is there. I don't think... Nope. He is not going to get ahead of Chris before Chris makes it to the thing. Looks like he will just get Tim Ponzi.
I was going to say, he's got to get by Tim Ponzi first.
Yeah.
That was quick and easy. I think Ponzi moved over a little bit for him.
Chris here, he is literally gonna catch Chris into, I believe, Sabine Schmidt's curve, the first curve on the Nordschleife, and yep.
Yep, good call. There they go.
Wants to send it in there, but as soon as he can put the power down, he will get that pass done, not costing him a ton of time. So, used his fast repair, used his first, or used the tow there. All things considered, he is...
Sad looking like he's getting ready to make a move. He was getting tight. But Peak pulled away a little bit.
Oh, and they got Daniel Nance here behind them. Oh!
Oh!
Woo!
Oh,
good job,
nice
Daniel, on the
save.
recovery and not taking everyone out there, because you bounce off those curbs, and I'm not even sure God knows where you're going someday.
Oh, there he goes in the grass again and hit the guardrail.
Oof.
Whew. He's saving it, though. Good job. Holding on to it.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if there's something wrong with the setup from that car, but that does not look like a pleasant thing to be driving now. In fact, I'm going to hop into Daniel's car here as he goes around Thad. Let's look and see what...
The wheel looks pretty straight, so nothing bent.
Yeah, but from this view, you can kind of see as they launch down. They're coming out of that corner, headed into the compression. 150, 106. The GTP, they just put on speed so fast. 180 miles an hour there. Oof.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And these corners, they just keep coming at you. And, you know, the GTPs do not have ABS. So you lock the tires, and if you lock the tires in that section doing 180, better hope you've got a deity to hand the wheel to really quickly. So he just, yeah, like, ooh, yeah, gets on that, but you can see through here, like this thing is just planted through miss, hit, miss. Well, I say that, he may have a little too much damage to be planted. As checking back in here with Mason, he is, oh, what is that? Showing his gap to first place is 2.5 minutes. So, if Mason wants to catch up, he's going to have to find a way to save 2.5 minutes or find a whole lot of pace very, very quickly. And that's kind of the problem we saw in the 24. You know, if you have an incident that costs you 45 minutes, you know, on another team, even if you're, you know, 5 seconds a lap quicker, it's going to take you forever to get those laps back.
Nah. Pointer's getting this battle between
Yep.
Marshall and Pointer's heating up.
Yep.
And then, you know, that's allowing Pete to pull away.
They'll be going up this hill, so that'll give Kelly the draft. But the problem is, going up here, that the corner at the top of the hill is a one-lane, one-line corner. I mean, you can go through too wide, but you have to have the cooperation of the guy going with you. And Kelly kind of, I believe, knows that and is hanging back there a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to plan out, you know, his path and where it's going to happen. And that's one thing about Kelly. He's a very focused driver.
Oh, absolutely. And it's one of those things where the smart thing to do anytime here at the ring is if you catch up to somebody, if you can't make the pass going into the going up the hill and clear them before that corner, just hang out, hang nice and close, and really focus on your exit out of Donninger Ho to get a nice, good run on that long back straight.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, sometimes you could be right on their tail, and they can make a mistake that could, you know, cost them pretty. Oh, Pointer into the guardrail.
I believe that's a little bit of the commentator curse there. Let's hop in.
Sorry about that, Kelly.
hop in here with Kelly and see that wheel. It looks pretty straight still. So it looks like Kelly. I'm gonna be quiet. Let's go give somebody else a bad day. Check in here with Dave.
Like Dad catching up to
yeah,
to peak a little bit again. So.
And I saw something happening in the background. I think Kelly has some major.
Really broken. Yeah, he's really struggling to. Oh, I'm so
It's
sorry,
crabbing
Kelly.
a bit.
We should not have been talking about you. Should not have been giving
Oh,
you
wow.
the kudos.
Yeah, Kelly gonna stop it there and
Time
tow
to
back.
Yep.
So we'll check in with Mason
Like
here.
Daniel Nan's got his car under control a little bit better again. He's passing. I think he just went by Hamilton.
Yeah, looks like Mason that lap a 7:09 it appears, and last lap Nick doing a 7:18, Kevin Santana doing a 7:29, Sahaj Padiyar doing a 7:58. So I've got a feeling you're gonna see these guys just. I mean, Mason's gonna have to make up 40 seconds. We're 24 minutes into this race, and even at a closing rate of 10 or no, okay, sorry, yeah. His closing rate to Sahaj, he'll probably catch Sahaj by the end because that's 50 seconds a lap. Yeah, he'll catch him in a lap or two. But Sahaj may have had some trouble. But even on, let's say Kevin Santana, who is currently, what is that? A minute and 5 seconds ahead. So even if he catches 20 seconds a lap, he's going to need, you know, he's going to need another 4 laps, and at 8 minutes or 7 minutes a lap, yeah, it's going to come down to the wire to see if Mason can catch Santana by the end.
Oh, both Hamilton and Ponzi are in the pits.
Well, we are on lap 3. I'm kind of curious about something. Yep, we missed Nick and company. They all pitted, so Mason pitted on lap 2, so he won't be pitting. He'll get one more lap. Maybe, you know, if Mason took fuel when he popped into the pits after towing, maybe he winds up not having to make one extra stop.
Yeah, that's possible. It's very possible. He could, and you know, he could be fuel saving a little bit. Not that there's much fuel saving on this track.
There is if you do the right gear. A lot of it has to do with gear selection. As Dad getting Dad got past Kevin
and Browder's getting ready to get a little warm. They're getting a little close.
So Kevin's still in the pits. I guess he had some damage he was trying to get fixed, showing a 1 minute pit time out of him. And we have John Crane back here. Ooh, a little wiggle out of that BMW there.
Yeah.
I know John said he had dislocated his shoulder last night trying to run the Coke 600. So
did he dislocate it?
That's what he was saying. He said he had to have it pop back in today.
Wow.
So I told John
I was in Discord with him last night. He was about like halfway, 3/4 of the way through the race when I hopped in Discord, and he didn't say anything about it.
It's one of those things. John might be slightly accident prone, or just has bad luck. One of the two.
Yeah. He's definitely racing injured with his wrist, and you know, but he very proud of him. He finished 10th last night in the Coke 600 series.
Definitely a very good what was I saying, outing for a special event like that.
Yeah,
we'll check
definitely.
Back in, so you can see there's Christopher Hamilton 6 seconds ahead of Tim Ponzi. Jake Browder just right behind him. You know, so any real mistake out of these three, I mean, when you look at their pace, you know, lap over lap, I know Chris is just maintaining a gap. He's making sure they're far enough back that they're not going to get the draft. They're not going to sneak up on him, but he's not going to do anything more than what he has to maintain that. But, you know, no. Tim here and Jake, they're close enough to actually, you know, these guys are still putting in the laps they can to try to make it through. Powell made it all the way up to 4th. Oh, but that's because he pitted on lap 1 for that, so he'll be in this next time around. So that'll demote him slightly. So Thad here in the BMW with about 11 seconds behind him. To the surprise, another BMW of Nathan Sides. Then 14 seconds back to our lone Ferrari car here, Mr. Craig Potter. And then our lone BMW, Tyler Bramble. And then Kelly Peak and Kelly Pointer. Yeah. So Pointer looking like he got his car fixed there. But that's going to keep him on the same one. It is a minute there behind Kevin. So it'll be interesting to see how those two fall out. Checking back with our leader here who just started lap number 4.
I'm trying to find.
Nope, not that one. Huh. So Kelly, it says Kelly passed Dave Tilford for... Oh, I'm guessing David was in the pits at the time. Dave Tilford having a impressive top speed here, supposedly. According to SDK, it's telling me 237 miles an hour that BMW has somehow managed to do. Pretty sure that's a glitch.
I was gonna say, I don't know how I feel about that.
Looking back through here, the other top speed is Nick Terrell, 202 miles an hour out of that one. So he is getting ready to come out through the Dottinger Hoe onto the back straight. Let's just follow along here. I'll pull up the... Oh, we're in the replay mode there. Well, that would be why everything's not showing up. Yeah. Okay, so that's one of the... that's why the track map didn't match what I was looking at. Last lap, a 7:56 for Nick and a 7:08 for Mason. 8 minutes for Santana, so... Mason back on the loud pedal, ready to go. Daniel looks like he's actually kept that thing pretty clean so far in this stint, right?
Yeah, it looked like he was, you know, getting the car back under control. Not sure what the issues were there for a couple of corners, but looks like he's got it back in his hands, and you know, making it stay on track.
Yeah, I'm showing actually now a top speed for 260 for Daniel Nance. I'm guessing that may have happened during one of the accidents where you get that momentary off barrier speed. As he is into the pits here, and see how much further Chris Hamilton is back here. Going through, I believe that is Whipperman into Ice Curve currently. No, not quite yet, but almost. See, that's the gap. That's what a 5-second gap looks like at the Nürburgring. Let's see, let's think of it. Well, we'll check back in when they're on the back straight. Marshall is 3 seconds to close that gap down to Powell there. There we go. Yeah. We have who else here on track? I think it was... Check in with Sahaj here real quick. And Sahaj is going through. What section is this? This is... I believe that was the compression into... Yep. Adenauer Forst. You know, what gets me is I can drive this in a GT3 or a quote-unquote low downforce car, James, but you put me in something that's high downforce like this, the lines are so different. You know, it's insane because they're less worried about their line and more worried about where the bumps are to keep from upsetting the aero balance that will send them flying off the track.
Right. Looks like Potter and Bramble are getting a little close to one another. Bramble's starting to catch up to Potter and the Ferrari.
Oh,
Bramble's
there you go.
in the Merc.
Let's see. So 160 out of the Ferrari and 160 out of the Merc. So this is where you'll see that Merc start to pull back.
You know, one thing I've been noticing with the Ferrari, because I've tried to drive the Ferrari, and you've got to be really delicate getting back on the throttle, or else that rear end just with the turbo just kicks right out on you.
Well, so a while back, and this was not the new 288, but the old 458. There's a little trick, and I imagine I've driven I've only driven the new Ferrari just a small amount, but you can kind of, if you've ever done what they've called like neutral steer into the corner, where the back end is rotating and you're not, you're not putting in nearly as much wheel as the car is actually rotating in on purpose.
Right.
The Ferrari is capable of doing that on corner exit very well.
Oh wow.
But
Okay.
you're riding a knife edge to hold it there. The old
Yeah,
car was great
definitely.
and easy to do. I haven't put enough laps in to see if the new one is the same way.
That's yeah, that's definitely a great skill to have, is being able to neutral drive a car. I hear the Skip Barber's a good one for learning that.
It is. Hey, the old SRF used to be brilliant at it. Just because lifting off the throttle, you could make that thing turn in, turn out. Yeah, it's kind of like the old Porsches back in the like 70s, where you turn in at full throttle and then chop it a little bit to get that little bit of extra turn in if you needed it. But once you'd set the car, if you lifted, it was coming around every time. The new ones aren't nearly as bad.
Now, how long you been racing, John?
Let's see. I've had iRacing now for, I believe, 12 going on 13 years.
That's a very long time.
Yeah. Let's see. My first sim wheel I had, that's been a much larger number. That's probably larger. Let's see. I've been sim racing longer than Chris Hamilton has been alive. So, a little while. And there's probably a few other people in that category, because my first wheel was about 1997, maybe 95, when NASCAR racing was brand new, the original one, Papa Papyrus.
Right.
So, but back then we didn't have force feedback. There were only 2 buttons on the wheel. And the pedals weren't really pedals, but they were these round things that you would press, and heaven forbid your foot went under the center point of it, because your foot would pop under the pedal and it would roll over on the top of your foot and trap your foot. I was 5. So it happened a few times.
Nice. Yeah, I started last February before last, 23, and started out with the Logitech wheel and the next level wheel stand there, and this year, this year I finally decided, all right, I'm not gonna get bored with this. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna stick with it. So time to spend the real money, and got my rig and my direct drive and all that, and it's been a blast.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you get that first quote unquote rig where the seat's bolted down and you're using load cell pedals, and if you have triples or VR, and you find yourself like falling into the game, I kind of say, to where you've done, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes of racing, you haven't hit a wall, you hadn't spun the car, and you catch a curb wrong, you go flying into the car, and you realize that you've let go of the wheel and assumed the full tuck position, and your brain just told the rest of your body that you were about to hit the wall at 160 miles an hour. You realize, everybody says, oh, you're just playing a game. Yeah, when it's good enough to completely fool my brain into thinking this is about to really hurt. Yeah, it's getting close. The simulator title is a lot closer than most people realize with what you can commercially buy now.
Right. Yeah, like you and I were talking about earlier, my coworkers and my boss, he says to me all the time, he's like, why don't you just get outside? I'm like, this is, this is, I love outside, but this is, basically chasing a dream of wanting to be a race car driver. This is as close as I get at my age.
So I did notice, though, the light's looking a little yellow. The shadows are getting a little long.
Oh yeah, they are.
The headlights are now on that Merc there.
Getting a little dark there.
Somebody's running the endurance pack of lights. I wonder, did Carl set the time to 2 or 3 times time? because that.
That's a good question. Because yeah, that sunset kind of came quick, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. But if you notice, that McLaren does not have headlights on. As Powell is running down Tyler and Craig here pretty quickly.
Yeah, you know, I'm watching David Tilford a little bit here. He's getting a little wiggly coming out of these corners a little bit. So I wonder if it's getting to be a time for him to pit with you know, and get some fresh tires.
Let's say showing that David pitted on lap 4 and technically is on lap 4. Yeah, so he probably has cold tires right now. If he
Okay,
let's see.
okay.
Well,
I didn't realize he just
19
pitted, so.
seconds. So no, he should still be on the same set of tires. Because we were running hour-long stints and the tires were just fine for the entire hour. So
Maybe he's just getting a little throttle happy then.
that's a very, very distinct. Oh. Showing Jake Browder going off track here. What happened to him? This is through Whipperman here. Yep.
Oh.
Takes a little too much curve. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
All things considered, that's about as good as an off track of the Green Hell is going to be. Having another off track here for Kevin Santana. What happened here? Oh,
looks like he did the same thing that we saw earlier, where he cut the first corner a little too much, and that sent him into the next corner off into the grass.
Yep, managed to catch the wall though in the middle of the car, missed the wheel, so he may be actually all right. Let's hop on board with him real quick and see. Yeah, the steering wheel still looks pretty good.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, so yeah, the Porsche has the roll bar cam. They kind of see here as the thing leans around how not flat this track really is.
Oh, is this that gyro cam you were trying to play with early? Gotcha.
Yeah, I have to. Actually, if we go live, we go back to. That was Santana. I just missed it. Do I have it for Mason? Yeah, you. Ooh, yeah. But you can see how smooth Mason really is here on the wheel. You know, the Caddy not known for its good brakes, making this look easy. So we will jump back in that view here in a little bit. Let's check back through here. Right here. Oh, Bramble.
We got a three-car battle with Bramble and Powell and
Bramble 172, 173. Oh, has to get on the brakes, and Powell not having great internet. Things are exploding off the back of that McLaren along with the fire. All attaches back, so net code obviously there.
I noticed Bramble's taking a different line there going into the straight.
Yeah, the Merc doesn't, that big V8 power sometimes is hard to put down as Sahaj down the inside of Potter into turn 1 here. There we go. Let's jump back with Mason here. Perfect timing as he is at the top of this. Let's see. You can kind of get an idea of exactly what dropping into the carousel would feel like there. Ooh. Yeah, that's just a little angled. There we go. Seems like my stream box is not so happy about some of these button clicks. You know, Chris only needs 2 more positions to technically be 3rd overall.
That might be what he's pushing for.
Yeah. Nick here in the pits. So, other pit times being about 23 seconds. The car is lifted, so I wonder if Nick is taking time. Well, you can take tires in the same amount of fuel, I believe, in the GTPs. As even after the pit stop, still has a 1-minute gap on 2nd place Kevin Santana, who is into the pits. We also have Kelly Porter into the pits here. So if looking here, Nick has no traffic ahead of him. The next car he'll come up on is the 74 of Jake Browder in quite a few minutes. So this being the 15 minutes to go, we're going to do a quick little session of You'll Love to Hear It, and we'll be right back. That's one of those spots that definitely is not an easy spot to get around. You saw Tyler Bramble trying to make a move on Craig Potter down into the heavy braking after missing this. They'll have another chance coming up the hill here in a second after they make this braking zone here.
By Bramble and Potter there. Now he's trying to get by Thad.
Almost forgot to turn down the volume when we made live on the thing. So sorry if we blew anyone's eardrums out there. Yep, Bramble all over the back here. That Merc V8 power just sucking right back up to the back of that
we got a third one in
Ferrari.
on this fight.
Here we go, as you see. Now, there is a line that you can try to get around people here at the carousel, but you have to go wide, and they have to be going really slow.
Yeah, and you really got to make it stick on the flat.
Yeah, which is a GTP on a GT3, sure, you might be able to make that work. As, the 101 of Kevin Peak
definitely
has introduced himself to that battle.
Yeah, he's been watching this on the main screen. It's going to be a three-way battle here very soon.
Yeah, Kevin here definitely seems like he's got a little more speed than these two, but like you say, in this little section here, down through Whipperman and everything, and Ice Curve and YouTube Corner, the track's just not wide enough. If somebody makes a mistake, yeah, you can launch a shot here or there.
Goes Potter off track.
So hopefully that wasn't the broadcaster's curse, but there you go. You know, like I
Here we
said,
go again.
your best bet for this section of track is to just try to stick right on the person's tail in front of you and intimidate them.
And
There
just
you
like
go.
that, Bramble just went off track and Peak slid right on by.
Yeah, as we will look back here at Craig, and that's put Craig right back in play with Bramble.
Definitely.
See
As
what
Peak
kind of
just pulls away.
yeah. Yeah, Kevin's fastest lap, 4 seconds a lap faster than either Tyler or Craig there, so he was going to kind of say bye-bye as soon as he could break the draft.
Yeah, he was gonna definitely
Ooh.
overtake.
And the sun is
pretty
setting here. We have 10 minutes left to go. I don't think we're going to quite get to night here in this session. Maybe when the guys are trying to do some burnouts after the last lap. Well, I guess it would also depend on whether or not they get one extra lap. You know, when is that white flag going to fly? Because they are currently on lap 6 for the GTPs, and, well, still 6. So, technically, Christopher Hamilton's still on the lead lap with the GTP leader, Nick Terrell. As, there we go, that... Hey, Craig is all over the back of the...
Yeah, he is, and then you got Nick coming up behind him.
Yeah, and there's nothing he
This is
can
gonna be
do.
interesting.
The
Oh, and Craig slides over trying to get the draft from that GTP from Nick, and it looks like it helped.
too wide into here. It
There's
never
the-
goes well. Oh,
Oh,
Bramble. Into the...
oh, Bramble going the wrong direction on the track. Had
Yeah,
little
you
bit
see a
of
little bit of
touch
damage on the
Potter
front
there.
of that Ferrari
and,
there.
Marshall and Powell. Powell
Yeah.
getting by Marshall.
Potter having to go into the pits here.
Turn 2, they're coming back. Powell made a pass on turn 1, and then Thad tried to get it back on turn 2, and now they're back single file.
But they are nose to tail. Closest battle on track. 2 or 3/10 of a second separating these guys here. So Bramble, I do not believe, has used his fast repair yet, so hopefully he will get in and out pretty quickly. Craig taking his fast repair, I believe, or did he already take it? Because that could pay a difference there. Yes, it looks like the body damage on that Ferrari has been fixed. Bramble dropping him down, so he's got his front bumper. He used his fast repair. That's going to be about a 30-second gap, I'm guessing, to Craig there. Maybe Bramble taking tires, I'm wondering. Let's pull up the... A little bit of an issue there with that one. There we go. Yep, he's on the ground. I'm not showing that he towed.
Maybe he's already used his fast repair.
Yeah, but the front end was gone.
Nope, there we go. Now he's pulling away.
I wonder if he got a speeding in the pits or something, a 40-second
That's
hold.
possible.
Mason Smith here coming into the pits. Mason is a minute 48 off the back of Nick, 45 seconds off the back of Kevin Santana. So Mason with a great recovery drive getting back to the podium positions here.
And Thad Marshall is using every bit of track possible, trying to get around Powell Casca.
Let's see, through here, he'll have a little bit of a run. The move here is to time this just right, so you're sucking up to the back, but you still have enough arrow to get it around and to make a move here, hopefully to the inside. Looks like Powell's going to cover the inside line off. That going to the outside.
No. They are side by side.
Yep, and Thad taking that
Marshall got
away
around him.
into the braking zone. No crossover move back from Powell. And this is another sector that you just... Going too wide here. I did it during the 24 a few times with GT4s, but there's the class difference and you have a chance. And even then it was sketchy.
There's just not much room here at all.
You know, how Powell is managing to run this close and not spin that little bottle cap of a McLaren is great driving from him here tonight. Let me try to find our... Looking through here to see... Let's see, I have to find somebody who is the number 120. No. And Nick is over here. I was trying to see if we're on the white flag or... I'm going to go drop you down into the general room over here. Ask them if they're already on their white lap. All right. As he is checking with these guys here to see if they are in fact on the white flag last lap or if there will be one more with 4 minutes to go here. Let me grab James and bring him back in. What are they saying, James? The white flag?
I think the white flag will be the next lap. They said they're not on it yet.
Okay.
So.
Because he was right there at kind of that cutoff line, because it's about a half a lap is when they do it, so.
Right.
Looking in here, let's see. Closest battle on track still Powell Casca.
Powell, yeah.
Yep. Powell's not letting him get away.
He is not. He's sucking right up on him.
See if Powell can intimidate Thad at all. Thad generally a dirt driver, so he's used to having people running right there next to him. You know, Thad's one of the guys here. We're still running on a single monitor, so.
I was just about to say that. That is, you know, to be fair, Thad's doing this with only one monitor when everybody else has triples. I don't know if any of these guys are running VR, are they?
Let's see. I know when Tyler Kukeko runs, he runs VR. I used to run VR all the time before I went to triples. Christopher Hamilton will occasionally.
I think Ponzi's trying to stay ahead of Nick. Oh, nope, there it goes. Nice quick pass by Nick.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things as they get down to that final lap. If I'm a GT3, do you want the extra lap or do you just kind of want the leader to go by so it's over at this point?
Right, definitely.
You know, especially so these... Looking through here, Chris pitted on lap 6. Ponzi managed to pit on lap 7, so somewhere in all that, looks like Tim managed to squeeze out an extra lap somewhere. Or is Chris trying to save a little bit and not have to pit one time? Let's see. Where is Chris here on track? He is coming onto the long back straight with a 11-second lead over Tim Ponzi. And where is Chris? So if the 081 is coming up to the back.
Yeah, so he's gonna catch a little bit of draft off of Hamilton and zip
195. So just shy of 200 miles an hour. I'm showing Nick did 201 once, but that could just be a little bit of a fluke.
Man. Yeah, I was gonna say your speed thing hasn't been accurate tonight.
SDK sometimes he does some weird things. Because sometimes it'll pick it from the rear wheel speed sensor, and if they hit a bump and then spin a tire up at high speed, sometimes it'll report something weird.
Well, Marshall and Casca getting into that long straight, so this is where the McLaren really really shines on that straight line speed. So I think he'll get up pretty tight to him. Oh, there goes the internet.
So 170 coming up the hill, 160. Yeah, the difference is the Merc has all that torque and it will pull that hill. I think that's where it gets its real big speed boost, where it doesn't necessarily have it at other tracks.
Right.
into the braking zone here, and might we see a little bit of a thing? We are over the 1 hour mark now.
Oh, Casca
Oh,
into the pits.
Thad not into the pits.
What
That's
happened there?
remember Powell towed early, so he is off cycle a little bit. I'm guessing he had to stop for a little bit of fuel, but from what everybody said, this should be the white flag lap for Nick Terrell. Let's see if I'm looking through
Barry
here.
in the chat says there's no catching Chris Hamilton tonight. You know, I'd like to say as opposed to any other time, there's normally no catching Mr. Hamilton.
Well, Tim's only 11 seconds back, but as we see last lap, Chris doing an 8:48. So, you know, his best lap being an 8:14 here. So, Chris knows what he's doing. He's here to collect a win and be happy, not trying to push it too hard. You know, it'd be really nice to have that, you know, couple seconds of pace you just don't need to use for once. So looking through here, and it did appear that Nick crossed the line after the 1 hour mark, so this will be the final lap. Hopefully.
Yeah,
Hopefully iRacing isn't doing anything
and
too
it is
crazy.
getting darker.
It is.
It is getting darker. You're starting to see those headlights and those taillights a lot better. That's one thing about that Caddy. Those lights are gorgeous on that Caddy. Just the shape of them. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, that and the Porsche is always just and I know it's Porsche. It's going to be functional. They're pretty when they're off, but when they're on, like you could have done.
My wife and I constantly debate over how to pronounce it. Is it Porsche? Is it Porsche? You know, I guess the girl's name was actually Porsche, according to my wife. So I guess that's the correct pronunciation. What do you think, John?
I've known a few Germans that say Porsche, so I'm going to go with that. That's always the way I've said it. I've generally viewed people that said Porsche as a little stuck up. The pinky up when they're drinking their coffee type. So, you know, the same guys who would have a Ducati, you know, and order some biscotti from Starbucks. Not exactly my kind of people.
Right.
You know, I've owned 2 Porsches now, and I've been happy. There's only 2 more that I would ever really want to own. So, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. So, you know, those being a 930 turbo from the late 70s, and then a 991.2 GT3 Touring. You know, the last of the manuals, no body kits, no wings, just driving perfection.
Right. Yeah, you know, I miss driving stick.
Yeah, the 2 I had were 928s, and you know, they have a dog leg transmission, which means reverse is where first normally is in every other vehicle. It sucks to forget it. Oh no. Showing checkered flag now. But yet Nick is not at the line.
Yeah, he's running through the carousel right now.
Okay. Oh, I'm guessing, well, it's going to be... I don't know how iRacing reports that sometimes. So we're going to go with, you know, the race is still on. I'm not seeing checkered flags next to names. That's normally does it. But that has put certain people... Huh?
We're not done yet.
Right, but that has put certain people out of the race, I believe, if they hop out of their car. Showing that Kelly Porter had an accident here. What happened with Kelly? Oh, I wonder if Kelly ran out of fuel. Kelly Kelly's going to get a black for that, unfortunately.
Oh no.
I've tried doing that once before, and it did not go. iRacing was very, very not happy with me. Because technically that's going to... It's going to say he cut the track. Because, I mean, he did. But if his pit box is across the line, that could be very, very bad. Because I'm not sure what penalty it will assign. So it will be interesting to see how iRacing handles that.
Yeah, you know, iRacing is saying race over, but there's still a lot of racing going on.
Yep. As we will see. So it's about to actually be over here. Why is bad iRacing? I was wondering why that showed up. As Nick Terrell here going down the long back stretch, he will be the first to cross the line. So when he crosses, we should get a checkered flag next to his name. And if that's the case, I think...
Why is Pointer showing in first place?
Because he cut the track to go back to the pits because he obviously didn't have enough fuel.
There goes Nick doing a little bit of light flashing, a little bit of waving.
So there's be your winner in that.
Congratulations to Nick on the win.
The next across the line to quote-unquote finish will be Christopher Hamilton. As he's about to launch onto the back straight. Looking back through here, looks like there are no more battles to be had.
Yeah, everybody's pretty much spacing out now.
Yep, Powell and Thad being separated because Powell had to pit.
Yep.
So your biggest thing is going to be, do any of these guys run out of fuel? Because Kelly obviously not having enough.
Watching Hamilton come around the last turn.
Flashing the lights.
Flashing the lights. He knows he's got it. That's a good win for Mr. Hamilton.
Yep. And next across the line will be
Tim Ponzi.
Chris Ponzi.
Chris Ponzi?
Is that what I said?
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at the wrong thing at the wrong time, apparently. So I know
Chris
what
Hamilton and Tim Ponzi. There you go.
Tim Ponzi running the paint job from the Nürburgring 24, I believe. So with the CRN Core Racing Network on it,
It's actually a pretty hot paint job.
Yeah, I believe Ryan McCauley would be the painter there, if memory serves, or that might, yeah. Unless, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one that we never got to see. They were in our split, but we never got to see them until the very end of the race, other than the pits one time. Kind of a crazy little race there. Mason Smith already finishing. Sahaj Padiyar, I believe, is going to be... No, Dave Tilford will be your last. Well, Tilford is only 4.5 seconds behind Nathan Sides there. And Bramble and Potter, that is a 53-second gap now. So everybody kind of split out here. With kind of keeping an eye on these two here. See if David makes his way in. Looking at lap times, looks like David, on his best lap, only about a second quicker than Nathan here, but last lap being 4 seconds slower, so maybe that is headed the other way. Although I just heard a incident here. Looks like David may have gotten himself an off track there. That I know is an off track.
We got a little bit of shenanigans here going on. We got Hamilton, Ponzi, looks like Marshall and Catskall lined up at the.
Kind of wondering, are we about to have a big
Oh,
burnout
here
party?
comes Potter. He's gonna line up and just kind of chill, saying, "Look at my car."
All right, we're gonna do this here. We will start with let's see, who do we all have? So I'm going to ignore Kelly Pointer, quote unquote, winning this one because I'm sure once I do a race review and some admin duties, I will have to speak with Mr. Tilford about that one. But we will
Yeah, I don't
pull
understand
our.
why iRacing is showing him as first.
Yeah,
That's
we will.
definitely Hamilton with the win.
Yeah, we're gonna pull. Let's see, that's gonna be Jake Browder will be the third place here in GT3. We will pull him into the booth here.
Can't go back to
Hey,
lap one.
Jake, this is John and James in the booth. You get a copy.
Hey, John, how's it going?
Well, you know, iRacing saying you're in fourth, but we all know that Kelly had a little track cut there at the end.
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on with that.
Yeah, we watched that on the stream, so that'll be handled by me and David later. But as far as I'm concerned, you and Chris and Tim are definitely on the podium for tonight. So, did you run the BMW at the 24?
We did run the BMW.
So, how was this coming back after being here for 24 hours?
God, I didn't want to do it, but it worked out pretty good. I was only able to hit a 20 in that race, and being able to hit a 15 in the race was actually really surprising. I think a lot of it had to do with the track state and the setup. I didn't really like the setup we had in the 24, but you know, it is what it is. I really like this Nürburgring setup though.
Yeah, it's one of the few that whoever's building the Nürburgring setups, I tested it for the Merc and was just like, man, this really isn't bad. We tried a few other ones, and it's like, you know, the stock car racing is pretty decent.
Yeah, man, it's like night and day. I don't know if that's mainly the setup or mainly track state. I'm not really sure, but the car felt great. I don't know what happened with me and Tim, and on the first lap, I went for a little ambitious move, but it didn't. It clearly didn't work out for me. I'm hoping that's on the stream so I can go back and watch it. I can't go back on lap one and watch it for some reason on my replay.
Uh, well, we'll. I believe it was. I can't remember if it was that far back, but. Oh yes, it is, because that was the one going into the Nürburgring
The
section.
Nordschleife.
Yeah, Nordschleife. Yes. So we'll definitely have to take a look at that. It is on the broadcast because it was you, Tim, and then I believe it was Tilford and Powell got involved in it as well.
Yeah, I was assuming David did. Sorry, David.
Well,
John and I noticed that the sun seemed to be going down relatively quickly. Did you notice any difference in the handling as the sun went down?
No, not really, because once that started happening, I wasn't really pushing. I was kind of struggling with the tires and the car because I was carrying some damage from that first lap incident. I ended up saving my fast repair on that first pit because I thought I would end up hitting the wall at some point. But thankfully I didn't. But no, not really. I didn't really notice, but it kind of did feel faster if I was gonna push. Yeah.
did
One of
did
the-
you?
One of the
Sorry,
comments
James.
in the core chat tonight, just they said BMW Sim Cup. It definitely was a lot of BMWs tonight.
Yeah, the BMW is the way to go here. I saw that Powell was in the McLaren. I think was he the only one not in the BMW?
No, we had Craig
There was
Potter
a
was in the
Porsche, too.
Ferrari, and the
Yeah, and a Ferrari.
Bramble was in the Merc. The interesting thing is the Merc was hitting 172s, 173s on that back straight.
Wow,
Wow,
Ford
no
just
kidding.
said he had. Dom Ford just said he had 0x, so 0 incidents.
With
Good
zero
job, Dom.
laps.
Proud of you.
That's nice.
So, but anybody you want to give a shout out to on that 74 machine before we let you go?
Oh yeah, shout out to you guys, everybody making this happen. CRN, I really appreciate y'all putting all this shit on. It means a lot. I'm
Oh,
having
no
fun.
problem. Well, we appreciate it, and hopefully we'll catch you next week.
Yes, sir. You will indeed. Have a good
All
one,
right.
John. You
See
too,
ya.
James.
Thank you. You too.
All right, that was third place, Jake Browder. We will pull second place, Tim Ponzi in here. You can take this one away, James.
Hey Tim, how's it going? This is James and John. You got a
Oh,
copy?
what's up? Got a copy.
What's up, man? How was that race?
That was good. It was
Yeah.
good. I knew Chris was gonna have some pace. I was trying to keep him honest. I threw a 15.5 at him, and he just kind of shrugged it off and started throwing in 14s, and so that's all I had. And I just backed it out of it and kind of just managed my gap. Yeah.
Well, definitely congratulations on your second place in the the BMW Sim Cup tonight.
Yeah, I'm telling him right now to destroy the pictures because I don't want anybody seeing me in a BMW. I had to run it. There was nothing I couldn't justify. I was quick in the Merc, but I just wasn't as fast, and it was probably because of the seat time I had at the 24 with these guys. So BMW it was. I just took my medicine and ran it.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things I asked Browder was, the sun started going down real quick. Did you notice any difference in the handling as the sun went down?
Yeah, definitely. I think I threw the 15.5 down second to the last lap. And yeah, so it was another mistake I had was I have it set up to give me an extra lap of fuel. Well, normally that's not a big deal. It's 3 gallons here.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a lot of fuel for.
So I sat in the
Yeah.
pits a lot longer than I needed to, but yeah, there was at least I was safe in case something happened and there was an extra lap. So
So, Tim definitely noticed, do you, how much do you wish you had Chris to deal with every night? Or are you happy he unfortunately has work the rest of the season?
I do wish he was here. Absolutely. We should move to a Wednesday or whatever night that he's not off. And yeah, I would definitely like to go mano a mano with the old bridesmaid.
And hey Tim, you had a shout out tonight in the chat by Barry TK. He's let's go Tim Ponzi at the beginning, towards the beginning of the race there. So
Yeah, Barry's a good dude. He's been around cheering me on for a while. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I do. Thank you.
that's awesome to have a fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks like, I guess that's your wife tuning in a little late as well. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, the comments don't stay because it's a live broadcast. The comments don't stay, so I can't go after the race to go in and chit chat. But
I've set it up. It's supposed to. Yeah, it's selected that it's supposed to replay the live chat. So
yeah. Well, I'll check it out tonight, and if I see some stuff in there, or I'll do some commenting.
well, I know you have to be subscribed to comment on that, so maybe whatever account you're using
I'm
isn't.
definitely subscribed. Yeah.
So congratulations on second place. Anybody you want to give a shout out to on that 46 machine before we let you go?
Yeah. Vigsy Motorsports. Unfortunately, my brother, the green hell scared him away, so he couldn't make it. But yeah. And thanks to you guys again for what you do. Good job for your first night. I'll be listening to you here in a little bit, James.
Thanks. Really,
We gotta
I wanted to race with you guys, but not
we
being
gotta
part
get
of
you
the
over there,
series,
man,
I
and get
just
some practice in, buddy.
well,
I see you pop
just
in every once in a while.
not being able to sign up for the series this season. I just I figured,
We'll get
hey,
you there,
what the
man.
heck, I'll hop in here with John and see how it goes,
Yeah.
how I do.
Awesome. Yeah, and okay, shout out again once again to the wife. And yeah, we'll hopefully
Oh,
be talking to you guys again next week.
always got a shout out to the wife.
Oh yeah.
They put up with our shenanigans.
All right. Well, congratulations, Tim, and hopefully, again, like I said, we'll catch you next week.
Hey,
Oh, I accidentally dropped him out a little too early. Finger slipped off the button. Sorry, Tim, there. But let's bring
Mid-word.
in. We'll bring our winner for GT3. This is Chris Bridesmaid Hamilton, not the bridesmaid tonight, Chris.
Hello, you guys got me?
Yep, we got you.
Cool. Oh.
Not the bridesmaid tonight, sir.
No, not tonight. Although I probably enjoy this track more than most, and I also just did a 24-hour race in it, so I got lots of track time.
I kind of halfway expected to see the core livery on your car as well. We saw it on Ponzi's.
I thought about it, but I figured using this car. I mean, there is core on it. It says core on the side. I
Yeah.
don't know if you noticed that.
Another one of Ryan's paint jobs for you.
Absolutely. This was a fun paint scheme way back in, like, I want to say 2018, 2019 when Core Premier went to Daytona. So that was it was Core Daytona GT3, and it was this car. And then I absolutely destroyed myself, but luckily I can redeem that drive with this one.
So running the throwback paint job tonight then.
Heck yeah, it's one of my favorite series too. I love Ruby. It's a great series. But as far as the race concerned, it's my one-off chance to drive with these guys, and I was like, I'm here for one reason, and that's to cause chaos. And,
Absolutely.
We might just have
have all the
to.
fun.
We might just have to figure out if we can redo the day of the week for this and get you back into running it, because definitely nice to see you out on track again.
Yeah, I do try to watch when I can, or if I cannot, then try to watch the little feedback. I do miss running the series. I really do. Guys like Tim, David, Nick, when he's out here, they are formidable opponents whenever driving. And Tim kept me honest tonight.
Yeah, Tim was saying that he tried to click in some nice times, and you kind of just said no. Ran a second faster than him, ran away a little bit more.
Yeah, towards the end, I was just kind of settling in. I saw the time go up to like 10 seconds, and then we were all confused about what was going on, and then iRacing finally updated when everyone finished. So yeah.
You know, Chris, I was asking the other couple of guys that, we noticed the sun was going down really, really fast. So how did that affect the handling of your car?
I thought the sun was coming up. Personally, I don't know what it is. The track got hotter for a little bit, so it kind of got a little skatey. Didn't change too much, other than I got blinded one turn because of my immersion. But other than that, it was fairly standard stuff.
Well, again, congratulations. Unfortunately, we won't be able to catch you next week, but anybody you want to give a shout out to on that 64 machine before we let you go?
Huge shout out to Ryan McCauley. He did this paint a long time ago, but it's one of my favorites. Maybe I'll shoot him a message to update it with just the number plates. I'm sure that's within his power. This is one of my favorite paints that I have. Huge thank you to all the guys for letting me do this one-off race. I will definitely take that to the garden or whatever into next week, and I can still do this. And thank you guys for the broadcast.
All right. Well, we thank you, and we will catch you at another time.
All right, guys, have fun.
That was your GT3 winner, Christopher Hamilton. Let's pull in Mason Smith. Where is Mason hiding? Mason. There he is. Mason, this is John and James in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
So, saw that you ran the plank up there and the Whipperman and stuffed the car a little bit. I know that had to be a little painful.
Yep, it was. It was very painful, but I had like again many opportunities, and then it's like there's like one corner. There's like one corner would just bite you, and I just didn't. I chose the caddy for the reason of taking all the bumps, because it's like, it's like a roller coaster track, but that still like didn't didn't help much. But I just overshot that curb, and that was the end. But still managed to get a third in a very very small GTP field. But I think that mistake kinda I just blew.
Yeah, I think we had a few guys who couldn't make it tonight, and then a couple that guess the greenhouse scared them away.
Mhm.
So Abby didn't.
You know, it's like a it's like a bumpy roller coaster.
Bumpy one at that.
Yeah.
So
But
next week we have. Where are we headed next week? Is it? Yeah, Road Atlanta. You looking forward to that a little bit more than this week's?
yeah, I 100% look forward to back to IMSA road courses because they are way like by 1000% better than the last 2 weeks. Maybe Nürburgring is an exception because multi-class can be done, but yeah, other than that, I think I'm looking forward to next week always look forward to it.
You know, Mason, I noticed, John and I noticed you guys were tucking those GTPs right onto the inside in the carousels. How'd that feel going through the inside there in the car? It looked like it's a little unstable coming out.
Um, oh, it's like the carousel, that little tiny carousel. It's like um I don't know if it feels like it's the exact same with the with as a feeling as a GT3. You just gotta like be careful not to overdrive it there, and if you like, of course, overshoot it, then you lose big time. I think it's just I think you just gotta like take it a bit easy on that carousel. Again, it's one of those corners that bite you if you make a mistake. Like I don't think there's any room for error on this track, but I think it was fine. It was very nice. I usually mark it as like the halfway point of Nürburgring.
Yeah, definitely. Um,
Mm,
how was it getting around the GT3s, you know, through
Um,
the Nordschleife?
GT3s, there wasn't a lot, but again, it's like one of those courses like I don't know where to get the line or not get the lines, overtake them. It's one of the it's, it's one of the courses that's very tricky to overtake, and I think Nürburgring shows again. It's the two back-to-back courses of Bathurst and Nürburgring being such hard tracks to overtake, and like again, like there's zero room for error. So I of course I had to wait a couple seconds just to get by GT3s, but I don't think they were not necessarily a problem since we were like far away from the pack.
Right, right.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. There's some spots in the, you know, like especially in the Nordschleife where it's a little tight. It's a little tight in the corners, a little tight in the straights. So yeah, I think there's plenty of spots where the GTPs would have to show some patience behind a GT3.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly exactly how it's supposed to be. When it comes to tight tracks, well, I wouldn't say Nürburgring's tight, but some of the parts are very tight. Mm.
I think it's more of a problem where you have to use the entirety of the track. Not necessarily that it's tight. There's just no room to go too wide. You're not going to make the corners. So,
Right. That's right.
but again, congratulations. Anybody you want to give a shout out to on that six machine before we let you go?
And of course, to the brave of people that showed up on the Green Hill tonight, and to you in the broadcast, and of course to the family that always watches me. I know I didn't do good necessarily, but I'm always trying. I'm always trying to win, and well, this one I could have, but the Nurburgring struck me.
Happens to the best of us. And again, congratulations, and we'll catch you next week.
See you next week.
Have a good one.
That was third place, Mason Smith. Let's bring in second place, Kevin Santana. Kevin, this is John and James in the booth. You get a copy? You there, Kevin?
That's a big no.
I'm guessing not. So we'll drop him back in the waiting room and see if he's there when we'll drop over to the winner, Nick Terrell here. Nick, this is John and James in the booth. You got a copy?
Howdy, fellas. Yeah, I do.
Nick,
So-
loving that mystery machine, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I generally rock it, whatever car I'm driving, some variation of Mystery Inc.
So we talked to Mason, and Mason decided to pick the Caddy because of how it handled the bumps. What was your decision process for the Acura tonight?
Hope you were breaking up there, John.
Oh, I said when we talked to Mason, he said that he picked the Caddy for how it was handling the bumps. What made you pick the Acura for tonight?
I remember whenever IMSA did their week here, it was like last season, I think it was, and they had the Enduro there, and I had chosen the Porsche, which is generally my go-to more often than not these days. Last season, it had been the Cadillac, and season before too, but I just remember the Acura was just like not quite in another league, but it was just seemed like people were just able to send it through a lot of the sections. But then I saw Mason just catching me through like the curvier bits, and then when I got out on the straightaway, I just started doing some zigzagging and around and was able to actually break draft on him. I'm not sure if he had damage or just the different setup or whatnot with Acura versus Caddy, but I looked at our VMAX on the straightaway there, and I was at like 194 at one point. And he was at like, I think like 187-ish, I think. So it was like a 6-7 mile an hour advantage
Yeah.
going. I was like, oh wow, if we make it around to the straightaway again, I'm gonna use that to my advantage again. But we didn't get to actually do that for the second lap. He had his off and bending and stuff. But yeah, that was intense. Those first couple laps, I part of me was looking forward to that for a whole hour, and another part was not.
Oh yeah, having Mason on your back door for an hour is never easy. It's one of those things you're just like, okay, well, he's not going anywhere, and I've got to make sure I don't let him pressure me into a mistake. So, no, that's not an easy thing. I managed to get ahead of him at the Nürburgring once and promptly stuffed it into turn one after passing him on the back straight. So,
Yeah, it was part of the big reason wanting to try to have the elbows out a little more than I probably even normally would just during the first lap, just because it's much better to not be in the dirty air through some of the Nordschleife section than just not wanting to have to try to follow braking, or if he had an off and a wiggle or something, I didn't want to have to do emergency accident avoidance or what have you, and it's just a matter to just trying to be in the front there if at all possible. I was glad we had some pretty clean racing on that first lap, and there was some high pressure until it wasn't.
yeah, definitely. We saw you dropped your pace out a little bit. I guess. Did you run the 24 with everybody else last week?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was in the BMW with a four-person team. We started like 19th, got up to 4th or 5th after the first couple stints, and then one of our lesser experienced guys had a couple of offs and some damage and whatnot. So at one point we ended up being like 2 laps down the leader and like P26th or 7th or something. And then I was like, all right, our goal is just to get back above 19th. So drive as hard and safe as we can and just be smart. We ended up getting and finishing 9th. So I was pretty happy to eke out a top 10.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks where you know, as much as you might be racing anybody else, it's you're racing the track first and foremost. Survival is the
100%.
important
Yeah.
thing because because you know, we saw some of your lap times were, you know, 20, 30 seconds off pace, but it's one of those things where it's an hour race. You're not gonna get your lap back at 20 or 30 seconds a lap, not for a couple
Yeah,
hours.
those were probably just with the pit overlap. I backed off about 3 to 4 seconds a lap. I was running went from running about 708s or whatnot, 709s to like 711, 712s. I was just intentionally kind of easing on the brakes and just letting off a little early, just to not run the 9.5 tenths or whatever I was trying to run with Mason behind me.
Yeah. Avoid the lockups. Avoid the curved.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, my brain was telling me just like with GT3 to go over the curb, go over this curb, go over that curb, like you can with the GT3s. But I had to consciously keep reminding myself to not listen to that muscle memory, to intentionally and consciously avoid the red and white curbing as much as possible.
There's a couple of them you can touch, but also that Mason went over the one that most people go over through Whipperman, and that spit him off into the wall. So
Yeah, I went back and watched that. I was curious what'll happen. I was like, wow, he took that corner almost about the same way that I had. Maybe he looked to hook it a little more than I normally would have, but it was such a. I mean, we're dealing with inches and razor thin margins at that sort of speed. So you blink for a tenth of a second, and you're 100 feet beyond where you wanted to be.
yeah, it's kind of like when Senna was in Detroit, came hit the wall. When he came into the pits, he was talking with the engineer. He goes, "Well, the wall must have moved." The guy's like, "Yeah."
Oh
And he
yeah, I
goes,
love that story.
"Well, it's Senna." And he goes, "Sure enough, the lap before, somebody had hit the tire barrier and pulled the
Yeah, I think it was a
Armco
gut
out
morning
10
or something.
millimeters."
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
to anyone else, 10 millimeters wouldn't have mattered. But he was running it that close lap after lap. He's just like, it's insane what, you can do when these things are dialed in. So, was it a little nicer running a setup compared to the default iRacing stuff you've been subject
I'll
to
be
the rest
honest,
of the season?
I didn't do any. Oh yes, overall, probably. I didn't do any laps of any of the other setups or anything at Nürb, just because I saw there was some deliberation on what the actual setup call was going to be. So I was like, I'm not going to waste like 7 minutes a lap trying something that may totally change by the time the decisions are made. So once decision had been made and there was that practice session that Dom had ran last night, appreciate that by the way. Was able to get in there and do like a couple attempts of an out lap, and I did like a couple flying laps. And kind of in my head, I was able to kind of know like, okay, I screwed up a couple of these corners and can't go over that curb. There's just little mental notes that I tried to execute during the race itself. But that's that's why it's racing. There's never a perfect lap. You're always after that lap of the gods.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's one of those that's just hard to do sometimes. So next week we're going to Road Atlanta. You looking forward to that one?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite tracks. I won the Petit Le Mans session there last year, and then done pretty well with LMP2 and GTP. So we'll see how it goes. I'll have to get some practice time in and maybe run some AI just to kind of get some of that timing down with some of the lap traffic, because timing things wrong or right there can make or break like 3 to 5 seconds a lap if you're a little wrong on sending a send or pacing back to get your speed up and get by. It's definitely more of a chess board than some other tracks.
Yeah, I
Well, I-
definitely love Road Atlanta. I'm especially partial to the F4 on Road Atlanta. That's definitely a fun track to drive with that car combo.
Yeah, I love any of them that have some decent downforce. That's for sure. The GT3 is about the slowest type car I like to really drive, and get me in a prototype and stuff. I definitely feel a lot more comfortable.
Well, congratulations on the win. Anybody you want to give a shout out to on that 081 machine?
Yeah, first and foremost, you guys are running the league. You guys in the broadcast booth, whether it's just you solo or any accomplice you have join you. The clean racers out there, definitely, it's always appreciated. Some 0Xs and stuff are always all right. No fun seeing the 2s and 4s and having to deal with tows and protests and license points and all that stuff. So hopefully, we're beyond some of that stuff and we'll see a clean remainder of the season.
All right. Well, again, congratulations. I hope we'll catch you next week.
Thank you, fellas. Have a good night.
Thanks,
All
you
right.
too.
So let's pull up the results here if this wants to cooperate. So in GT3, that is Christopher Hamilton taking the win, Tim Ponzi in second, Jake Browder in third, Thaddeus Marshall in fourth, Powell Casca in fifth, Kevin Peake in sixth, Craig Potter in seventh, Tyler Bramble in eighth, Nathan Sides in ninth, Dave Tilford in 10th, Kelly Pointer, it's finally fixed it. He is down in 11th after getting a penalty for that. So we'll have to talk with David and see if that's going to stand there. John Crane in 12th. And yep, that's it for that. And then in GTP, SDK catch up here. That is Nick Terrell taking your win. Kevin Santana in second. Mason Smith in third. Sahash Padiyar in fourth. Daniel Nans in fifth. Matthew Simmons in sixth. Abhi Vishwasam and Dominique Ford did not complete any laps here tonight. Matthew
I was gonna
did.
say that explains how he got a 0x.
Yeah, and Daniel, or not Daniel, but Matthew, we saw at the start, but did not manage to continue racing. But from me and James here in the booth and everybody else, we appreciate it, and y'all have a wonderful night.
Are you ready to take your live events to the next level? Look no further than Pulse Studio, your one-stop destination for cutting-edge design solutions. Their expert team of designers specialize in crafting beautiful 3D renderings, animations, and content creation for the live events industry that will captivate your audience and bring your vision to life. Pulse Studio also has you covered for interactive guest experiences, anything from touchscreen content to immersing guests in unforgettable virtual or augmented reality experiences, guaranteed to leave a lasting impression. From concept to execution, Pulse Studio is here to elevate your events to extraordinary heights. Contact them today by visiting www.pulsestudio.com and bring your dreams to reality. Are you ready to take your live events to the next level? Look no further than Pulse Studio, your one-stop destination for cutting-edge design solutions. Their